Bhagavad-gītā As It Is. Today is also the most auspicious appearance day of Lord Nrsimhadev. Lord Nrsimhadev Bhagavan ki jai ho. Actually, he has already appeared, but since there's a time difference, that's why in Germany they follow the time of his appearance, which is just around the setting sun. First of all, the sun sets here very late. And secondly, the appearance of Nrsimhadev was in Ahobalam, which is south of India. That was his last incarnation. Lord Nrsimhadev appears several times in the day of Brahma, not just once. Like other incarnations, like Lord Ram, Lord Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they appear only once. Nrsimhadev, Matsya, Kurma, they appear several times. So the time of their appearance, actually by German calculation, is at 1 o'clock. Around 1 o'clock, between 1 and 1:30. Just to let you know, he did not appear in Germany, so there's no necessity to follow the German timings. Let us offer our most humble obeisances at the lotus feet of Srila Krishna Dvaipayan Vyasadeva, and at the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, and all his eternal associates. May they bless us so that we are able to grasp his timeless transcendental instructions as Arjuna did. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
We are reading from Bhagavad-gītā As It Is, chapter 11, verse 36. Arjuna uvāca.
Arjuna uvāca.
Sthāne.
Sthāne.
Hṛṣīkeśa.
Hṛṣīkeśa.
Tava. Prakīrtyā. Sthāne Hṛṣīkeśa. Tava prakīrtyā.
Sthāne
Hṛṣīkeśa. Tava prakīrtyā.
Jagat.
prahṛṣyaty.
prahṛṣyaty.
Anurajyate. Cha. Jagat prahṛṣyaty anurajyate cha.
Jagat prahṛṣyaty anurajyate cha.
Rakṣāṁsi.
Rakṣāṁsi.
bhītāni.
Bhītāni.
diśo
diśo
dravanti
dravanti
rakṣāṁsi bhītāni diśo dravanti
rakṣāṁsi bhītāni diśo dravanti
sarve
sarve
namasyanti
namasyanti
cha
ca
siddha-saṅghāḥ
siddha-saṅghāḥ
sarve namasyanti cha siddha-saṅghāḥ
sarve namasyanti ca siddha-saṅghāḥ
Arjuna uvāca
Arjuna uvāca
sthāne Hṛṣīkeśa tava prakīrtyā
sthāne Hṛṣīkeśa tava prakīrtyā
jagat prahṛṣyati anurajyate ca
jagat prahṛṣyati anurajyate ca
rakṣāṁsi bhītāni diśo dravanti
rakṣāṁsi bhītāni diśo dravanti
sarve namasyanti ca siddha-saṅghāḥ
sarve namasyanti ca siddha-saṅghāḥ
Arjuna uvāca
Arjuna uvāca
sthāne Hṛṣīkeśa tava prakīrtyā
sthāne Hṛṣīkeśa tava prakīrtyā
jagat prahṛṣyati anurajyate ca
jagat prahṛṣyati anurajyate ca
rakṣāṁsi bhītāni diśo dravanti
rakṣāṁsi bhītāni diśo dravanti
sarve namasyanti ca siddha-saṅghāḥ
sarve namasyanti ca siddha-saṅghāḥ
Arjuna uvāca
Arjuna uvāca
sthāne Hṛṣīkeśa tava prakīrtyā
sthāne Hṛṣīkeśa tava prakīrtyā
jagat prahṛṣyati anurajyate ca
jagat prahṛṣyati anurajyate ca
rakṣāṁsi bhītāni diśo dravanti
rakṣāṁsi bhītāni diśo dravanti
sarve namasyanti ca siddha-saṅghāḥ
sarve namasyanti ca siddha-saṅghāḥ.
Please read.
Synonyms. Arjuna uvāca. Arjuna said, sthāne, rightly. Hṛṣīkeśa, O master of all senses. Tava, your. Prakīrtya, glories. Jagat, the entire world. prahṛṣyaty, rejoicing. Anurajyate, becoming attached. rakṣāṁsi, the demons. bhītāni, out of fear. diśaḥ, directions. dravanti, fleeing. sarve, all. namasyanti, offering respect. cha, also. siddha-saṅghāḥ, the perfect human beings. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. O Hṛṣīkeśa, the world becomes joyful upon hearing your name, and thus everyone becomes attached to you. Although the perfected beings offer you their respectful homage, the demons are afraid, and they flee here and there. All this is rightly done. Purport. Arjuna, after hearing from Krishna about the outcome of the battle of Kurukshetra, became an enlightened devotee of the Supreme Lord. He admitted that everything done by Krishna is quite fit. Arjuna confirmed that Krishna is the maintainer and the object of worship for the devotees and the destroyer of the undesirables. His actions are equally good for all. Arjuna understood herein that when the battle of Kurukshetra was being concluded, In outer space there were present many demigods, siddhas, and the intelligentsia of the higher planets, and they were observing the fight because Krishna was present there. When Arjuna saw the universal form of the Lord, the demigods took pleasure in it, but others, who were demons and atheists, could not stand it when the Lord was praised. Out of their natural fear of the devastating form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they fled. Krishna's treatment of the devotees and the atheists is praised by Arjuna. In all cases, a devotee glorifies the Lord because he knows that whatever he does is good for all.
Arjuna uvāca sthāne Hṛṣīkeśa tava prakīrtyā jagat prahṛṣyaty anurajyate cha rakṣāṁsi bhītāni diśo dravanti sarve namasyanti cha siddha-saṅghāḥ. O Hṛṣīkeśa, the world becomes joyful upon hearing your name. Thus everyone becomes attached to you. Although the perfected beings offer you their respectful homage, the demons are afraid and they flee here and there. All this is rightly done. The Arjuna is glorifying Krishna with his name Hṛṣīkeśa. It's very significant in the sense that he is the master and controller of all the senses, not just his own, but also the senses of everyone else, through the agency of his material energy, Maya Devi, who controls everything through the agency of her three modes of material nature. So, directly or indirectly, it hardly matters. Krishna is the supreme controller. Therefore, the demigods who know this, they take tremendous pleasure in knowing, first of all, the Supreme Lord possesses such qualities which every once in a while becomes conspicuously manifest. At other times, most of the other times, it is inconspicuous because the Lord is one of the Lord's 6 opulences that are prominently manifest in the material world is his humility. And out of this humility, his renunciation. Renunciation. One of the 6 opulences that we know that he manifests in this material world. So, knowing this, the perfected beings, they understand that all of the Lord's activities are beneficial for the entire universe, beneficial. And Arjuna is therefore glorifying the Lord, saying how different people react to Krishna differently. They themselves The devotees, like Arjuna, he is one of the perfected beings that he speaks of here. And constantly offering Krishna their respect, obeisances, homage, whatever. While the demons are always afraid of Krishna. One may ask them, if they are afraid of Krishna, how are they actually then ready to fight with Krishna? And this is the point. If one studies the psychology, it could be that all the insects and mosquitoes or whatever that attacks the human beings is in the night. And out of fear. The demons, for example, Kamsa, he was constantly sending demons to get rid of Krishna from day one. Hardly had 3 days passed that Baki, the sister of Bakasura, also demoness, she was looking forward to kill Krishna with a poisoned breast. She's looking forward. And Kamsa was always ready, always ready to get rid of Krishna. Constantly, in fear he was. So out of fear he was attacking, aggressive. Actually, in war strategy it is said that the weaker and the ones who are afraid, in order to hide and suppress their weakness, they are the first ones to attack the enemy. So in this particular case also, the demons being afraid, they always want to attack Krishna first, unprovoked. Krishna never takes up a weapon when not provoked. He doesn't. But as soon as he's provoked, then he does. And the demons, they will attack you unprovoked. This is the difference between devotees and demons. Demons are the first ones to attack. Therefore, here, Krishna, Arjuna is revealing to us his wonderful qualities of Krishna and his holy name. They're non-different. So, if anyone wants to taste the sweetness of Krishna's name, then one has to simply drown in the nectarian ocean of Krishna's holy name. It's so sweet that it is not possible for a human being to completely receive the holy name. The sweetness is so intense that it's not humanly possible to actually relish the full extent, taste the full nectar of Krishna's holy name. Therefore, they always remain hankering for more and more. So when Arjuna heard from Krishna that all these kings and all the soldiers, excepting the 5 of you, all are dead. So why worry? Continue to fight. So giving this assurance, Arjuna felt a huge burden drop off. Not because he was afraid to fight. He was afraid of killing so many others for the sake of the throne or the crown. This was disturbing to Arjuna. That he would have to kill. And so when he heard it is already done, oh Arjuna, it's already done, it's a matter of time. It's a matter of time, so you just become instrumental and just perform your duty without desiring for loss or gain. Because until and unless there's genuineness in different different actions of Krishna, if there's no genuineness, then nobody becomes attracted to these activities of Krishna, what we call Leela. And there has to be a genuineness. So Krishna is not simply pretending. He's certainly accepting the support, although he may not need it, from all quarters. So by hearing praises from the demigods, it's an encouragement for Krishna, although he doesn't need it. However, the demigods, and we all need to always glorify Krishna. So, and Krishna has such innumerable names, inexhaustible. There's no way that anyone, anybody, puts together so many of the Puranas and put together that one day it will be, all the names of Krishna will be covered, not like that. It's just too many. And most of them we don't know. It's also not necessary to know all the names of Krishna. But the prominent ones, the main ones, that must not be forgotten. For example, the Mahamantra, these are all names of Krishna. And there are so many like that. So, names of Krishna is to be always remembered. And that way one develops an affinity for a particular emotional attachment, particularly. According to the name, one is, for example, Hṛṣīkeśa. Yeah, Krishna is being addressed as, oh Hṛṣīkeśa. That means, oh Krishna, you, the controller of your own senses and the senses of everyone in the universe. Because Arjuna was becoming afraid, not because only of the outcome of the battle. He was quite convinced that Krishna is with us, he will always win. But still, there was a note of fear and caution.
Yes.
So, the demigods, they were observing from the heavens because Krishna was there. So they immediately were there to see this wonderful pastime of Krishna, where he was in the middle of a battlefield, where he was not going to take up any arms. What sort of a battle was that? However, they knew, unlike Duryodhana, they knew that even if Krishna does not take up any arms, does not take up any weapon, simply his presence will bring such good fortune on the side he supports. And that alone will be sufficient for victory. The demigods knew, and the demigods were there. So they were also supporting because their sons were also there fighting against Duryodhana. Therefore, they were also supportive of the Pandavas. Pandavas were the sons of Dharma, Jamraj, Vayu, Indra, Ashwini Kumar. So they also wanted victory for their sons. Only Duryodhana didn't know this, or did not want to accept it. And the demons are afraid. Now, who are the demons? One may get the impression from reading this that everybody could see the universal form. Therefore, they became very much afraid seeing that form, universal form. But it was not actually so. Only Arjuna saw this. That's Krishna's mystic power. So the devotees were, the demigods were ready to offer all respects, and they were offering also. The demons were the enemies. Now, the demons of the enemies of demigods are always demons. That is a fact. Anyone who's inimical towards the demigods, because they are prakīrtya bhaktas. Prakīrtya bhaktas means they were materialistic devotees. So they were overjoyed. The demigods, seeing Krishna, they could see the universal form. Possible. but no one else other than Sanjay, like, and the demons were all the enemies of the Pandavas. They're all demons, because demons are always antagonistic and inimical towards the devotees. Therefore, whoever is inimical and antagonistic towards devotees are demoniac in nature. So questions? Question and answer session?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
What is the benefit of chanting Harinam on Tulsi beads and in front of Tulsi Devi?
First of all, Tulsi beads are absolutely essential, because through that one associates with Tulsi Devi. One may have the opportunity to sit in front of Tulsi Devi when chanting, or may not. But simply chanting on the beads, Tulsi beads, is getting association of Tulsi Devi, which Krishna is very much liking this, because Tulsi Devi is a very elevated devotee of Krishna. In fact, Krishna will refuse anything offered to him if it is not offered with a Tulsi leaf. Such is the potency of Tulsi Devi that it is by offering a Tulsi leaf and Ganga water every day to his Shalagram Srila Advaita Acharya was able for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to appear.
And chanting in front of Tulsi Devi, what is this benefit?
That association by vision. You see, we have 5 senses. The more senses we employ, the greater is the possibility of concentration and of not being diverted.
Yeah, actually, somebody told me that if you chant in front of Tulsi Devi, it helps you in not wavering your mind.
Yes, that is true.
Which is, of course, a major problem.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Guru.
All questions dried up. The tap of question is dried up.
Hare Krishna, Guru.
Haribol.
Haribol. Regarding the appearance of Nrsimhadev, what we celebrate today, I read that that all who hear the Harikatha of Nrsimhadev and how Prahlad was saved from from his father, that they are granted liberation, and it was said that the Uttama Adhikari will will have this benediction that all forefathers behind and before him will be liberated. And von Uttamadhikari it will be 21, I think, for Madhyam 16, and then for the Kanishta Adhikari 7. And how is this to be understood, that 7 generations will be liberated? Is this really the case, or does the devotee have to do something regarding chanting Harinam without offenses, and following the instructions of the spiritual master and so on? Or is it granted just by listening to Harikatha?
Well, by listening to Harikatha, one purifies oneself. And only when a devotee attains a certain level of purification and advancement, then these things happen. You can listen to Harikatha, but it is not the result of Harikatha to liberate. Rather, the Harikatha is there to purify us. And as purified devotees, the more we are purified, the more we are able to liberate our ancestors. And that is the meaning. So whether it's Harikatha or whether it's chanting or both, that is not the criteria. The criteria is this, how advanced one is. According to that, one is able to liberate either 3 generations actually for a neophyte, and 14 generations for the Madhyamadhikari, and 21 for the Uttam, to liberate.
Gurudev, but the Kanishta Adhikari is not very much qualified. It's seems to be a big mercy.
Yes.
He granted 3 generations of liberation.
Yes, that's true. But he's certainly more qualified than a non-devotee.
Thank you, Gurudev.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
One thing is extremely conspicuous, that Bali Maharaj renounced his guru, Sukracharya, and Prahlad Maharaj renounced his father Hiranyakashipu, and Bharat renounced his mother Kaikeyi for the sake of Supreme Lord. So, mother, father, and guru, all 3 have been renounced for the sake of the Lord. What is your take on that?
All of these, take the example of Bali Maharaj. He did it for the sake of the truth and the Supreme Lord. So, generally, to abandon one's guru is certainly a very serious offense. Unless, of course, the guru is a non-devotee and a offender, Vaishnava offender. In such case, a guru may be abandoned. So in one sense, Shukracharya was stopping Bali Maharaj from surrendering and serving to Lord Vamana, to the Supreme Lord. So in this case, Bali Maharaj was right, because he was doing it for a higher truth, a higher principle. Similarly, Bharat abandoned his mother because his mother was acting on a very mundane platform. She wanted her son to be the king. Although, according to the rule and etiquette of crowning a prince regent or choosing a prince regent, Lord Ram was the correct choice. He was the eldest. And he was sinless. So there was no fault in Lord Ram that he should be superseded by someone else. This was done by Kaikeyi and without Bharat's permission. He actually extracted through manipulation the postponement of Lord Ram or abandonment of Lord Ram's being crowned as Prince Regent in a most unfair way. Unfair. And secondly, there was no necessity for Lord Ram to be banished. In fact, Lord Ram was pleading that he was willing to go and never come back even. However, this was not acceptable because she was just wanted her son to be the king. So there again, it was for a higher cause that Bharat rejected his mother. And what was the third one?
Well, Prahlad Maharaj rejected Hṛṣīkeśa, his father.
That's not true. Never rejected.
I mean, he renounced his instructions. He didn't follow them.
That's not true. He followed what sort of instructions? Instructions regarding what?
Well, he was anti-Vishnu, whereas Prahlad was very much for Vishnu. So when he was asked, what did you learn at the school? Then he said, this is what I learned, and he didn't like it. And he told him not to pursue Vishnu. So there, actually, he renounced him and he went on worshipping Lord Vishnu.
No. That's not called renouncing. You got it wrong. He was trying to convince his father towards the right truth. Renunciation is one thing, and bringing the father to the right path is another thing. And naturally, if the father is on the wrong path, he has to disobey him. Otherwise, how can he bring his father on the right path? Renunciation would mean complete rejection. So that cannot be considered. And it was not the rejection of his father. It was a rejection of his false or wrong instructions. He never rejected his father. He continued to accept the authority of his father. In fact, he was begging for his to be excused, to be exonerated. If he rejected his father, how would he do that?
Yes. Thank you.
So when Krishna so desires, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada blesses us, we shall get to hear Harikatha very soon again. This afternoon. It's already evening in India right now, anyway. But here it is the afternoon. We have a program in the temple. So there will be more Harikatha. I thank all of you for your patient hearing. Hare Krishna and all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare